It's Martin Luther King Day in Columbia, South Carolina. It's the third week in January, and it's right in the middle of a race for a presidential nomination. For the Democratic Party, there are only 3 candidates left standing, and they've all come courting today.
Civil rights can't be intermittent.
Hillary Clinton, with high hopes of finally returning to her preferred home in Washington. John Edwards making his second run at the presidency, but sinking fast, squeezed into oblivion by the struggle between Clinton and the undisputed star of today's show, Barack Obama. The struggle between Clinton and Obama has enthralled America. With an unpopular government, a collapsing economy, and a war being lost, it has seemed almost inevitable that one of them will become president. No Republican has captured the nation like these two. But over the next fortnight, the Democrat dream will start to look a little less certain.
The United States of America, God bless you all.
Just 2 hours' drive upstate, Republicans gather aboard the old battleship USS Yorktown.
McCain! All right, how about Mac is back? Mac is back!
To date, there are still 6 candidates vying for the Republican nomination. None of them outstanding, none of them whipping up any media excitement or national support.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next president of the United States, John McCain!
The music heralding the 71-year-old senator from Arizona, John McCain, is certainly apt. It's the anthem of washed-up old fighters around the world. Just a few weeks ago, his campaign for the party's nomination was regarded as a total wipeout. He had no money, no staff, and single-digit approval ratings. A surprise win in New Hampshire has changed all of that, and he's now seen as a possible contender. His success is a mystery to many commentators. His stump speech is standard Republican fare: low taxes, and an end to government wastefulness.
And we have gone on a spending spree which has mortgaged your children's futures, and it's got to stop.
Like his competitors, he vows to defend America from Islamic extremists. But McCain, a well-known war hero, hits hard on one message that the others don't. The war in Iraq is a success, America is winning, and that he will continue the fight to victory.
And my friends, we will never surrender. They will surrender. And you may know.
It was a message that, against expectations, seemed to work in New Hampshire and is now being refined and road-tested again here in South Carolina.
And you know, I want to tell you right now, look you in the eye. I don't care what it takes. I'll follow him to the gates of hell. I will get Osama bin Laden as president of the United States. I will get him, and I know how to do it.
He's gonna win tomorrow!
Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the evergreens, there's still a dog cabin made of earth and wood, where lived a country boy named Johnny B, who never ever learned to read, write so well, but he could play the guitar just like a ringing bell.
As the results of the South Carolina vote come in, McCain supporters gather at the local military academy, a fitting place to underscore the central message of his campaign.
That's the only thing. Everything else will work itself out. Defending the nation is the most important thing in my mind.
South Carolina is a key state for Republicans. Tonight is the test of whether McCain's message clearly distinguishes him from the pack.
Too many candidates, too many different issues, different views, whereas I think you're better if you have fewer candidates that are more focused.
As the night stretches on, the field begins to narrow. Fred Thompson, a month ago seen as a strong contender, slides off the radar and ends his campaign. Mike Huckabee, who was expected to reap a victory in his religious heartland, begins to trail against McCain.
In a little bit, they're going to call this election, and I'm expecting we're going to have a little bit of celebrating going on when that happens.
Bobby Harrell, the Speaker of the state legislature here, spells out the McCain strategy of distinguishing himself from a crowded field.
John McCain has the credentials for the national or international issues that need to be dealt with relating to terrorism that the other candidates don't have. So I kind of see his ability to be the commander-in-chief as the tiebreaker on this when you start looking at who ought to be in what position. Hopefully it'll work out like we think it's going to work out, and then it's on to Florida, and then it's on to Super Tuesday, and then it's on to November, and we're going to keep the White House with the Republican Party.
Within 20 minutes, the first part of Bobby Harrell's prediction comes true. There is now little doubt that the McCain formula is striking a chord. Now it's on to Florida to face off Rudy Giuliani and Mitt Romney, broadly regarded as the big guns in the Republican campaign. Mitt Romney is the frontrunner in this campaign. A multimillionaire from Massachusetts with conservative views, good teeth and deep pockets. Deep enough to sink $35 million of his own money into his bid. Florida is a critical campaign, the last state election before the bulk of other states vote altogether on Super Tuesday, and Romney is certainly looking good. For ex-New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, events here aren't quite following the script that he'd hoped for. With Florida full of retired New Yorkers, this primary was meant to be his launchpad. Like McCain, Giuliani has been pushing hard on his anti-terror and security credentials, but it seems his message isn't cutting through.
He wants to take away your right to defend yourself. He is a Democrat in drag.
Senator John McCain!
Like Giuliani, McCain is also portrayed by some as a Democrat in drag.
Do you mind being called a moderate Republican?
I kind of resent labels, but the fact is that I am a conservative.
To many, McCain is viewed as too green on environmental issues, too soft on illegal immigration, too critical of Bush's tax cuts. Concerns he believes can be brushed away with his Trump conservative card.
But let me just say also, my friends, that I believe that conservatives are most concerned about the threat of radical Islamic extremism.
All the Republican candidates have talked tough on terror and broadly support the war, but only McCain is selling Iraq as a good news story.
We are succeeding thanks to the best trained, best equipped, most professional military that we've ever had. And if you forget everything I tell you,
a message, it would seem, that audiences have been eager to finally hear.
incredibly, Senator Clinton decided that she wants to surrender. She wants to raise the white flag. She wants to set a date of immediate withdrawal from Iraq after we've been winning, after the service and sacrifice of so many brave young Americans, and we are succeeding, and she's committed to setting a date for withdrawal, a date for surrender. My friends, I will not let that happen.
McCain is a likeable but enigmatic figure.
Get out of here, you guys.
While America is still trying to work out what type of president he might be, it may be a little too early to ask what that scenario would mean for allies like Australia.
What's your foreign policy mean?
But his answer is classic McCain.
Isolationist.
A little bonhomie, a little environment, and a little more war.
I know that the Australian people are very avid environmentalists, and I notice that the new government has renewed its commitment to addressing the issue of climate change, and I look forward to working with the Australian government and people on that. But I just want to say one other thing. We urge our Australian friends to help us out in areas of the world that are in everybody's national interest.
McCain's ability to appeal across political divides is emerging as his strength. There may be purer Republicans in the field, but their chances of winning a national election this year would be remote. At a rally for Barack Obama, I ask a simple question of the people waiting outside. 8 out of 10 had the same reply.
If you had to vote Republican, who would you vote for?
McCain.
John McCain. John McCain.
John McCain, without doubt, yeah?
John McCain. I don't know why.
I would probably vote for McCain.
Among Liberal or undecided voters, McCain leaves Mitt Romney in the dust.
Thank you. Oh, you guys are great.
And with his promise of victory in Iraq, he's drawing in the Republican heartland as well.
Hi, how are you?
As the Florida vote looms, with Super Tuesday soon to follow, McCain starts to run neck to neck with Mitt Romney in the polls.
You're listening to News Talk 850 WFTL. I'm Joyce Kaufman. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back for the lightning round. If you'd like to get in and on, this is your opportunity. 877.
Polling is one way to take the pulse of a city, but sometimes talkback radio is just as good. I'm heading over to see what Joyce Kaufman's listeners are making of the last-minute pictures of Mitt Romney and John McCain.
877-850-8585. I want to check in with Michael Crow from Numbers USA. We have him on the line.
Popular radio host Joyce Kaufman is taking her show on the road today, setting up at the University of Florida, where all the candidates are about to debate.
Voters don't know that John McCain is the amnesty king.
Oh, yeah.
There's little doubt that McCain's sudden rise has taken her audience by surprise.
Let's go to Robert in Stewart on John McCain. You're on the air, Robert.
McCain's support last year for an amnesty bill allowing illegal immigrants to stay in the US became so controversial it almost finished his career.
What have people got against McCain, though? It's a bit of a mystery to me. You know, he seems pretty old-school Republican to me.
Well, that's interesting. Old school Republican, except that he likes the idea of open borders. He likes the idea of as many Hispanics voting as possible. He's the senator from Arizona, which is a border state. And people just don't understand that he's taken a lot of money over the years from Hispanics. And that has colored the way he views this. On my radio program in South Florida, we refer to him as Satan. I mean, you know, we just don't like John McCain.
In town halls across Florida, McCain keeps pounding his Iraq message, and the crowds keep getting bigger. Iraq is still item number one, but his liberal stance on illegal migration is still haunting him.
Now, some may have to go back right away. Look, we're a Judeo-Christian valued nation, okay? Some may have to go back immediately. Some may have to go back to the country that they came from and go through a period of examination.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's wrong. I just got back from Alabama, in a town that's been in the past for 50 years, they're still living like they did 50 years ago. There's Mexicans walking up and down the side of the road. Now, we've got to get those 20 million out. What you're telling me and Ted Kennedy...
This type of debate is a disturbing development for Charlie Black, McCain's chief strategist.
These people here suffer from crime from the illegals down the street.
Black played a major role in the winning campaigns of Ronald Reagan and both of the Bushes, and is smelling victory again, particularly when McCain gets back on message.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's the central battleground on this struggle against radical Islamic extremism is clearly Iraq.
The war in Iraq is John McCain's trademark issue. Now we're doing the surge and it's working, and that has added greatly to John McCain's political prestige.
And he seems to be getting pretty enthusiastic response to that here, but that's amongst Republican crowds, though.
Well, it's mostly a Republican crowd, but that's who's going to vote in the primaries on Tuesday. It will be all Republicans. But that plus his message about fighting the overall war on radical Islamic extremism.
If I have to follow him to the gates of hell, I'll get Osama bin Laden. I'll get him.
How does that message go down in broader America, where the war is, on the face of it, looking unpopular?
The war is unpopular. People are frustrated and impatient about it. But all the Democratic candidates are for immediate withdrawal from Iraq. When you give the American people the choice, should we immediately withdraw and give a victory to al-Qaeda, or should we keep with the surge strategy, which is working, and go on to victory, they pick victory.
It's the night of the Republican debate at Florida University, and the tone is being set outside.
Ron Paul! Out of Iraq! Ron Paul! Fight back! Ron Paul! Impeach Bush! Ron Paul! Impeach Cheney! Ron Paul! Impeach Rice! Ron Paul! Impeach them all! Ron Paul!
I want each of you to take 30 seconds. Will you go to the country, Senator McCain, and say the war was a good idea, worth the price in blood and treasure, and we will stay?
It was worth getting rid of Saddam Hussein. I'm proud to be the only one on this stage that said that we have to abandon the Rumsfeld strategy and we have to adopt the strategy that is succeeding. And that's happened. I'm the only one.
Before McCain entered the scene, the Iraq War was a poison chalice for all aspiring Republican candidates.
I'm the only one that said that. It is succeeding, and we will be...
No one condemned it, but it was best left bundled up with George Bush, and as he departs, consigned to his legacy.
I'm recommending that we add 100,000 active duty personnel to our military.
McCain has now pushed them all to own it, commit to it, and pledge its continuation. Suddenly, it feels like 2003 again.
You guys want to set up on the platform?
I like McCain because I'm scared to death of the terrorists. Even right here, I thought about this a little while ago. All these people, what if somebody came in here?
Thank you very much. When things were at their worst, then a lot of people said McCain's political career was over. But I want to tell you, this strategy is succeeding in Iraq. It is succeeding thanks to this great general.
In the final days, McCain stays on message, but resentment to that message is now emerging. Perhaps a foretaste of the year to come.
4,000 Americans dead, 750,000 dead over there.
I think these experts right here will tell you Al-Qaeda is trying to establish cells in the United States of America. And I look you in the eye, my friends, and I'll tell you, if I have to follow him to the gates of hell, I will get Osama bin Laden and I will bring him.
Whether he finally wins the party nomination or not, McCain will have placed the war at the centre of this year's presidential contest, setting the stage perhaps for a nation to be at war with itself.